crack myself up. I still haven't found my first Blanton's. That's different. I really like that. They're like together, like peas and carrots. That's funny. Sometimes accidents are good things. Peychauds or Pechaud's or Pechaud. This is not what I expected. And hello, it is a Monday. Landon's watching. Hey, sir, how are you? We're doing it on Monday the 1st because I will not be around on May the 4th be with you, unfortunately. But I asked around and people said, what would be a good day? Or I asked what a good day would be, and I was told Monday the 1st. So Monday the 1st it is. Here we are. This is Noah's Mill, and this is the first official tasting of anything I've ever done in the Willett family from that distillery. Now, I have had the pot still. I got one of those little baby airplane versions of it. And I didn't hate it. I know people kind of knock on it. I didn't hate it, but I haven't had much of it. I just had that like little swaller, and that's all I got. So Noah's Mill is going to be my first official Willett Distillery tasting. Looking forward to it. Didn't get much from the company website about this one because it crashed while I was doing my research, but when I looked into it, Willett has a varied history. The company was founded in 1936 after Prohibition, and then it kind of did its thing and floundered and did this and that, and it was always kind of a company that would source things. Never made its own juice until recently. So they just kind of made the decision they were going to be sourcers. Well, in 1984, husband and wife team of Evan and Martha Kulsveen bought the distillery. They're still active. They still keep handling it down, handling day-to-day stuff, but they're handing it down to their kids, who mainly operate the distillery now. This bottle used to carry a 15-year age statement, but now it doesn't. I lost my place. May have been sourced from Bernheim for a while, and then Heaven Hill. After the switch, they removed the age statement and apparently blended whiskeys between 4 and 20 years of age, starting in either 2012 or 2017. I can't get a definitive date on when that happened. Depending on where you read it, Willett began producing their own distillate. Noah's Mill still comes from sources outside their own distillery, so maybe MGP, maybe the rye comes from Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Hard to say. All right. Curious your thoughts on this one. So am I, Landon, because I've not had it before. This is one I've been wanting to have for a while. I've seen it. I actually have an OHLQ version of this. This one is not an OHLQ version, I don't believe. No. This is batch 19-35, or it's batch QBCN. I'm not exactly 100% sure. So yeah, they took off the age statement. It says aged in wooden barrels until fully mature. 114.3 proof. Distilled, aged, and bottled by Willett Distillery. Distilled? I don't think so. I don't think so. This one goes for $67.99 in the state of Ohio. All right. Now, I will confess, I had a big-time sneezing fit before I came downstairs. So if my schnoz is off on this, I apologize in advance. It is pollen season. Okay. Oh, by the way, the shirt today, do have to point this out. This is the Maumee Valley Whiskey Society sweatshirt. This was a gift. A couple of weeks ago, Kevin Rutan came down and we had a few sips together, and he brought me this, and I am grateful. Thank you for this. It's very nice. It's very warm, and I like it. So thank you very much, and I'm proud to wear it on a Bourbcast. You can get your own. Make sure you get a size too big. They run a little snug. And it's not because I've gained weight or anything. All right. Okay. Whoo, that's a fruity nose. It's bold, though. It comes right out. I think I just grew a little hair on my chest. That's a bold nose. That's a nice nose. Very fruity on the front. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's actually really nice. 114.3 proof, which is 57.15 if you're like me and terrible at math. Oh, I can do math when money's involved. All right. Okay. Okay, now it's starting to calm down. I'm getting some really nice butterscotch. I do have notes from other people, but I didn't really read them before I put them on the thing. So my notes are my own. I'll read theirs, what they say about their own product here in a minute. There is a slight astringency. That's actually starting to take over a little bit. If you start getting a large astringency in the nose, it might be better just to let it air out a little bit longer, and then don't stick your nose down in the glass. Just run it over and see what you got. There I got a little bit of an orange peel, some cinnamon for sure. All right, so here's what they say. Bourbon Banter says oak. Yeah, it's hidden, but it's there. I mean, it's part of everything. It does say orange peel. It says walnut, burnt sugar, alcohol. I got that. And tobacco. I do not have tobacco. To me, tobacco is a rather dark note. And there's a dark side to this, but I'm not getting tobacco out of it. I would go with like hickory. Walnuts sounds good though. Okay. All right, let's go. That is quite the sip. That is full of flavor. It just has flavor coming from every angle. The bloom was steady and strong. That burn started on my tongue and went across. Still there, actually. 114.3 proof. That is just brimming with flavor. It's got a sweetness to it. Right now I'm just trying to get past the mouthfeel because it was great. And I'm just trying to let that subside before I get back to it again. I know I didn't give it a full 10 seconds. Because sometimes, you know when you go to a restaurant and you order something from the menu and it's something that you make yourself and you're not expecting much, and then you taste their version of it, it's like, wow! And all of a sudden you feel like your taste buds have just had a taste-gasm. You know, that's kind of the way it feels. When you try something that's outstanding at a restaurant, I kind of got a little bit of that here. There's just so much flavor that it's all like coming at me at once, and I think I just had a drink-gasm. I'm probably overplaying it a little bit, but you get my idea. All right. Let's get back to it here. Yeah, those fruity notes are I did happen to see that it said floral, and I could go with that. I would almost rather say floral notes than fruity notes, although the fruit it's very forward on this, or floral. It's all up to interpretation. Okay, second sip was a lot more mild. Got some really nice caramels, but they showed up on the side of my tongue. You know, you taste with every little part of your tongue. When you were kids, you went to grade school and there were like zones, like this is where the salty is, and this is where the bitter is, and this is where the sweet is, and this is where the salty, sweet, bitter. Savory was supposed to be in like the center. It was a Japanese thing. They say mushrooms carry that savory thing, but there was another one yet. Salt, sweet, bitter. I don't remember the other one. Anyway, so different parts of your tongue are going to pick up different things. That's why it's good to, do that whiskey chew. Get it going all around in there. Taste the different things. And so far, every time I've lifted this up, I've tasted something different. I kind of like that. I mean, I do like the ones that every time you lift it, you taste what you want to taste and you're used to it. But this is just different, and I have never had anything like this before. And I like this. I think if you were going to make a cocktail, I would try to think of some cocktails that you would want to traditionally include like a botanical. Let's say you're making a gin cocktail, right? Swap out the gin for Noah's Mill and see what that does for you, because the botanicals in this are strong, not like juniper like you'd have in gin. I mean, gin, if you like gin, you like the juniper. If you don't like that piney taste, you don't like gin. Except for minor case. No, that's the rye. This is the limestone branch, Bowling and Birch, signed by Stephen Beam. This is their gin, and this isn't near as heavy on the juniper, but it's got a lot of other botanicals in it. So like I'm thinking if you'd like gin in some sort of a cocktail, you might like this the same way. Like if you're gonna make a French 75, fine. Try it with this. That's the feeling I have out of it, is it's just got that floral note to it. All right, I guess I could finish this before I pour some more. I'm just so eager. All right, okay. Let's see what I get at it this time. Okay, it's very interesting. More of the traditional notes came through that time. Your cinnamons, your vanillas a little bit, the caramels, but still offset that with that botanical taste, that really neat floral, fruity overtone to it. It's funny that if you think of the fruit or the floral here and the normal taste of a bourbon here, as I went through that, now this is the neck pour. I didn't pour this out ahead of time, so I mean I'm exploring this straight out of the neck. But imagine that fruit and that traditional stuff, and now as I've started to taste it, it's just kind of gone like this. It's flopped. So now the traditional flavors are more heavy and more noticeable, whereas the floral, the fruity notes have started to subside a little bit in my palate. Very interesting pour. This is one of those pours that I would hold on to just so I could share it with somebody else, right? Because I would want somebody else to try this and go, oh wow, that's different, that's cool. And I don't think I would ever want to mix this with anything. But let's do some exploring. Again, if I did mix it, I'd want to do it as if it were a gin, because it has just a lot in common with some of the botanicals, to me, that you would find in gin. Particularly like a Hendrick's, and a little bit that this one, because there's a lot of botanicals in the Bowling and Birch. This is the limestone branch gin. People who make Yellowstone. And it's very good. It's very good. I like gin, and it's a very good one. So, Jeff is watching. Hey, Jeff. How are you, sir? We're doing Noah's Mill. This is one I've had for a little while, probably a year and a half. No, longer. I think I bought this in the middle of COVID in 2020. That's how long it's taken me to get through my collection and get to the Willett stuff. And this is just the beginning of our discovery into Willett Distillery. This is just number one. We've got a few weeks of this we're going to be doing. Actually, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks we're going to be doing of this. So it's going to be fun. So stick around. All right, so let's do... I never put my stopper back on here from last week when I did the water. Let's do the water test. See what happens to it. See if it's just the same as the last couple have been, or if it opens up. Nate's watching. Hey, Nate. How are you, sir? I was at the local bar. What day was that? This is Monday. It must have been Friday. I think it was Friday. And I sat down, and the gentleman next to me said, "I'm sorry, sir, that stool is taken." And I looked up, and there was my buddy Nate. So we sat there and had a drink together, and and caught up and talked about fishing and talked about bourbons and just had a generally good time. He's one of those people that if you get a chance to sit down and have a drink with the dude, you're going to enjoy yourself. I hope I can say the same about myself, Nate. I hope you had a good time, because I sure did. And I limited myself to one because I was just stopping in there briefly and I had to do some stuff afterwards. Pick up my son for one. His car is still in pieces in my garage. You may remember that his head gasket blew. So we took the heads off to replace the gasket. We took him to the machine shop to get cleaned and aligned and all that stuff. Turned out that the heads were cracked, $650 a piece, so we said hell with it and just bought a new engine. Tried to put the engine in on Saturday, replete with disappointments. So we'll get it in there. We'll get it running eventually. I hope. All right. So this is with a little water in it, Noah's Mill. Wow. That viscosity on there, the mouthfeel got a lot more buttery. Still some of that floral, fruity note coming through. But the cinnamons and caramels really, really came through. Those traditional bourbon notes are making their way to me now. That water just helped amplify those. And what's the best way I can describe this? You know how sometimes when you have a heaping bowl of cereal and you put just a little fruit in it, say blueberries or bananas or raspberries or whatever you get into. You're going to eat the cereal and you're going to taste the cereal, but occasionally you get that little smack of fruit and you're like, oh, I'm glad I did that. That's like this, just that little smack of fruit, a piece of fruit in every bite. You have bourbon you've never opened. Gee, shocker there. I've got quite a few yet left. I'm dwindling through the collection, Jeff, but hey, Paul, how are you? but I still have a few. Still have a few I haven't opened, and we're going to do it right here in front of all of you. So my first impression is my honest impression. All right. Aaron's watching. Hey, Aaron. We're doing Noah's Mill. It's 114.3 proof. It's the first time I've ever tasted a Willett on the Bourbcast, and I like it. This is one, Aaron, I think you would like. You tend to go for the sweeter ones. You also like the ones that have a little bit of a wine overtone to them. The Legent, the Derringer, things like those you have seemed to have liked in the past. You might actually like Noah's Mill. It's got that floral, fruity front, and then as you drink it, it finds its way to the back, and you get the more traditional notes on the front. It's just really an interesting pour. So this is with water again. That time I got a little bit more of the rye. Again, it changes every time I sip it. It makes me wonder what it's going to be like after it's set a while. I mean, really. There are some of those that are like that. There are some that I tasted and I didn't like, and then I let them sit, and it's like all of a sudden something happened. You know, like that oak or Old Elk sherry cask, the one that OHLQ did back on Single Barrel Saturday. When I first tasted that, I didn't like it. I liked the rum cask, but I didn't like the sherry cask. But then I waited a few weeks and I opened it again and I thought it was pretty good. I still like the rum cask better, but the sherry cask is pretty tasty. My favorite is still the wheated bourbon that Old Elk does, but we're doing Noah's Mill right now. Let's stick to Noah's Mill, okay? Okay. All right, one more of these. Yeah, just very unusual. The regular notes are there, but there's just something more. And it's bright, and it's tangy, and it's got I caught a little lime on that one. That's a really interesting pour. I'm glad I did this today. All right. Let's do the ice test with a semi-gorgeous ice sphere. It's been in a baggie, and it kind of took on the shape of the baggie a little bit. It's got all these ridges and like my face. All right. Yeah, okay. That's not age, that's wisdom. All right. I made a sploop. All right. Oh, I'm getting numbness right here. Yummy. So again, we will not be here on Thursday. We're doing this tonight because we won't be here on Thursday. I'm going to be off campus doing something different. But we'll be back the following Thursday as normal. I think this is the last. This coming Thursday, the 4th, will be the last Thursday that I'll need to take off for a while. So, by the way, the one that suggested doing good. I'm glad you're doing well, Paul. The one that suggested that we do this on Monday isn't even here. Kevin. Now, I got to be nice to Kevin. He gave me this shirt. This is the sweatshirt. I got to be nice, Kevin. But he's not here. Kevin. All right. So Noah's Mill with a little bit of ice on it. I didn't do a very good job of cleaning that up. All right. That brought that fruit forwardness, that floral element to it, brought that right back out again. It's just so fun. Some butterscotch in there, a little honey. On water, I got honey too. I forgot to tell you that, but on the ice, the honey really pops along with that butterscotch. There's still that lime note, which is just odd. $143 subscribers now on YouTube. The video I did of me being a dunce and breaking the cork on the Jack Daniel's Triple Mash, that video now has over 11,000 views. Unreal. What up? So now I got to find some other way to break something or do something. One guy suggested that I play with different ways to open a bottle when you can't open it the normal way. So let's say this cork breaks, right? How would I get that cork out? Well, of course, a lot of people said, use a drywall screw. But a lot of people said grab a corkscrew. But there's been some pretty interesting ideas. And I will tell you that I don't know if they'll work on bourbon, but one of these days I'm going to do a series of these experiments and see what happens. Not today. I'm going to find a bunch of really cheap bottles to do that with. This is, what did I say it was? $67.99, $68. I'm not going to do it with this one. I'm going to do it with something cheap. But we'll have fun with different ways to open up a bottle, I think. All right. Butterscotch and honey and everything else just comes out. Really nice on ice. I think this is one of those that if you try it, you run it through the gauntlet like I do. Start it off neat, put it on a little water, put it on ice. See how that flavor changes throughout the experience. Now, here's what they say. Willett says one of the most lush and rich whiskeys on the market. I read that for the first time and I thought, what a load of hype. But you know what? This is that unusual that I'm going to let him pass on that. That cheesy description, lush and rich, it may actually be pretty appropriate. The nose is walnuts, prunes, and floral notes, floral. The palate mimics the nose with walnuts, prunes. I didn't get prunes, but I don't eat prunes, so I don't know anything about any of that. Intertwined with lavender. Oh, yeah, there's that floral note, right? And balanced with the perfect amount of acid that leads you down a path of lingering burnt caramel. I got caramel, I didn't get burnt caramel. I don't know if I would like burnt caramel. Sounds like a mistake. Bourbon Banter said on the nose, oak, orange peel, walnut, burnt sugar. They got it too. Alcohol and tobacco. The taste, toffee. Maybe. I didn't get any chocolate notes off of that, but okay. Cinnamon, yes. Roasted pecans. I've never had a roasted pecan. I don't know. Light spice. I told you I tasted the rye. Acidic, yes. Vanilla, yes. Finish. There's a solid burn throughout, and that's true, but not unpleasant. That's true. Especially for the proof with great toffee and dark caramel. Okay. The toffee, Adding water, the sweeter elements come out more, with oak showing more with water. Okay. There's an underlying fall spice that shows in the finish. The finish is long and pleasant. Notes of roasted nuts. Yeah. So, I mean, they all have very, very similar notes to what I told you here, and I'm happy that I was able to give you something that was somewhat accurate. So, all right, so there you go. There is Noah's Mill. That is the first in our series from Willett Distillery. Next week, we do its brother, sister. We'll say brother, and that's Mr. Rowan. This is Rowan's Creek. They are sometimes marketed together. As a matter of fact, when OHLQ came out with theirs, they were on the same shelf at the same time. And of course, you could only buy one of them. But I happen to have these together from a purchase that I made in 2020. They were part of a bundle of different things that included Blanton's and E.H. Taylor and all sorts of good stuff. But they gave me, in that bundle, they had Basil Hayden in there. And I'm like, I don't want to put Basil Hayden in there. So they allowed me to upgrade to something different, and I started investing in the Willett series. So next week, Rowan's Creek. It'll be Thursday next week, so about a week and a half. I hope you can wait that long. I will miss you terribly. Tell you what, you drink up, you won't even know I'm gone. Ha! All right. We will see you then. Again, I do appreciate you coming along, and tell people about us. Say if you enjoy this, tell your friends that we've got this show going on and we do it every week and we try something different every week, and we've only doubled up once, and that was a boo-boo. So we're trying not to do that. When we get to the point where we're doubling up later because I've run out of stuff, that'll be on purpose, and that'll hopefully be different expressions or newer years of the same thing than what we've tried before. Noah's Mill is an example of one that evidently tasted different back when it was first founded than it does now. It tasted different in 1984 when the new owners took it over than it does now. That had a 15-year age date, but now it's blended. So, but it's going to be consistent. That's the good thing about this new way of doing it. It'll be consistent. So what I tell you, what my notes are on that, you should be able to get a bottle of this and have similar notes. All right. Okay, guys and gals, we will see you next Thursday. Let's see, this is the 11th, right here on Beautiful Bourbon.